All right, and here we are. Obviously we're missing a little something here. Let's give me some drums. All right, that sounded pretty good. Give me a little guitar. There we go. All right, now we're ready. All right, and welcome back to this week's video. I'm making this for anybody that is looking to purchase a monitor for their camera, but you're not trying to break the bank. So let's get started. So here we have the Feelworld Fw568. And with purchasing this monitor, it comes with a tilt arm, a micro HDMI cable, which is about 4 feet long, which we're going to talk about here in a second, a sunshade for when you're shooting outside in harsh sunlight, and most importantly, your operation manual. So one thing to keep in mind when purchasing this monitor is that it doesn't come with a battery. Now I thought when purchasing this, it would for sure come with a power source. It's kind of like buying a lamp. You would hope that it would come with the power cable. I sure hoped that it came with a battery, but in this case it didn't. So that's one thing to keep in mind when purchasing this monitor. Expect to do another purchase for batteries because you'll need these. And in the description below, I'll leave a link to everything that I had to buy separately from the monitor. Another thing is the HDMI cable. This HDMI cable is like 3.5, 4 feet long. And if you're shooting handheld and you're just wanting to rig the monitor on top of your camera, you're gonna have to get another purchase of a smaller HDMI cable. And one other purchase that you might have to pick up if you're gonna be using this for a gimbal is just a attachment arm to mount the monitor onto your gimbal. There's many other different ways to attach the monitor, but this is one that I just had laying around, so this ended up working even though it was kind of complicated to set up, as you can see in some of this B-roll here. It was my first time using it on the gimbal, so it was a bit difficult in the beginning, but I think I might look into a different arm just because it was very awkward to hold and very uncomfortable. Image quality from it is great. Build quality could be a little bit better. It's all made out of plastic, which isn't horrible, but it's definitely not going to survive a drop. One thing that I do really like about this monitor is that it comes with a lot of custom features that you can change to your liking. So my first custom feature, which is set for F1, and that controls my histogram, which is basically the distribution between the color tones. I have my F2 set to false colors, which is a great way to read your exposure. And then my F3 is set to image flip. Now we can take this sit down video for an example. If I have the monitor above the camera, it would technically be upside down, so that way I'm able to see myself on the screen. So the image flip really just flips the image within the screen, so that way no matter which way you're looking at it from, you can correct it to where it's the proper view. Now, I'm not going to dive into too many specs for this monitor because that information's already out there. I just wanted to give you my personal opinion on whether or not it's worth purchasing. So as of right now, this monitor does set in at about $158.99, which I think is a great price for what you get out of it. Now, not to mention the battery that you're gonna have to purchase as well, and the small HDMI if you're going to be rigging it up on your camera. Unless you're planning on using the HDMI cable that comes with the monitor itself, you're gonna have to wrap it around the tilt arm, which it'll look very congested, and it's just overall uncomfortable to use with this 4-foot cable. Now, one thing that I was very curious about when purchasing this monitor is how well it will do in broad daylight. Now, what I mean by that is, am I gonna be able to see the screen in broad daylight? And after a couple tests, it did great. This thing does read at about 500 nits, which is basically your brightness level within the monitor. So your standard monitors are probably going to come at about 300, 350, 400 nits. So for this to be 500 is a great plus. Of course, there's some monitors out there that can range from like 950 nits to 1250 to 1500, which you're going to be paying a lot more for those. So yeah, other than that, again, like I said, I just wanted to share my thoughts on this monitor, on whether or not it's great for anybody looking to buy a monitor on a budget. All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this video. Again, I didn't want to go too deep into the specs. I just wanted to give you my personal opinion on it, and hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll catch you